So we're going to talk about some bullish and obviously some bearish news. We're going to have a little look at a few assets again. It's Technical Thursdays. So hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new, make sure you've subscribed, hit the bell button, leave a like and a comment. Now, market's obviously increasing. As I said yesterday, that it's looking pretty good. I covered obviously XRP, Cardano and VeChain yesterday. I also touched a little bit on a few other assets briefly. But I'm going to focus a little bit today on Ethereum, obviously, Polygon as well. And I'm going to end off with some lovely little FUD, which makes me laugh and wonder why people say things. But I do want to talk first about this. Tomorrow, my first version of the full journal is coming out. So I'm writing notes here and there. You'll probably find out a lot more information regarding what I've been doing this week. So basically, if you don't know, this is a weekly journal of me rambling. I did one issue for free. There's a paid version. There will be other free versions coming out as and through weeks. But at the end of the day, it's a deep dive into what I do. Essentially, my tweets, what I talk about on videos, and where I've kind of done weird things and made mistakes and boo-boos. And probably life about me, really. It's quite fun. Journals are awesome. But we'll talk more about the markets because I'm excited about how this previous kind of run and dip has kind of happened. Now, it's been quite a flashy crashy, which is kind of the best ones in a bull market where things go, whoa, boom. I talked about ZIL, didn't I, in terms of it went down to 11 cents. Like, whoa, looking pretty good now, though, to be fair. But the fundamentals are key in terms of any market. We need to talk about dominance of Bitcoin. It is dropping like a stone, and it is. And if you've been watching my old videos and watching me and seeing the progression, you've probably been thinking, wow, this is pretty cool how this has kind of played out. Yes, it has been. But we're not there yet. We've got to be... I'm pretty concerned regarding Bitcoin now. I got a feeling that Bitcoin is going to all of a sudden go, hey, I'm going to upset the apple cart and just go, fuck off, boom, and off it goes. But we'll see if it does it. But I'm not sure at the moment because this is the 3-day chart. This line, by the way, we've not been below this since, we're talking July 2018 here. Yeah. As I said, 8-bit altcoins up here. It's not a bad place to be. Boom. You should be all up in BTC values on your portfolio if you've been in this space since December onwards. But depends on what position you got yourself into. But that is just one element of it. I've always talked about it with the pandemic of, well, the world. Pandemic? Why did I say pandemic? I don't know. Anyways, moving on. With this, essentially, this element here, this whole cycle, total 2 chart, the whole entire market, excluding Bitcoin, where is the money going? It is still going into altcoins, which is vitally important. We are body over these previous candles at the moment. Obviously, it's not closed yet. If we do close up here on this 3-day candle in the next day and 12 hours, that's obviously going to be good. Looking at the weekly though, high, bullish engulfing, you say. So that is a very, very important candle. As it stands right now, it is still 3 days and 12 hours away. But if we do close above that, it's just like massive. It's huge. It's really good. But let's talk about some other stuff. Institutions are finally turning to Ethereum. I've said this for ages. I said one thing about Ethereum, and I even tweeted about it yesterday to ruffle some feathers to see where people's opinions are. I said ages ago, people will start to buy Ethereum when one thing happens, and it's already happening, and we're starting to see it kind of come in and more apparent. What is going to happen with that maximum supply? I said, if that happens, i.e. the maximum supply is secured and sorted and we're going to have one, which is looking very, very likely now, by the way, with the new EIP 1559, it's going to create that barrier of this is actual money. Now, I don't think it's going to be a store of value element of Bitcoin, and I will come on to Bitcoin in a bit at the end because that's where the FUD is, that's where the funny side of it is. I think the biggest thing that this does not have versus obviously Bitcoin is what other people do on Ethereum, right? We've got security problems, issues with basically scammers using it and rug pulling, right? That's a problem. But if we have burning of fees and if we have that maximum supply, it will then become more of a scarce asset. That burning should make it more scarce as well. But that being said, it's driven to Bitcoin still, in my opinion, because there's a lot more Ethereum versus obviously, Bitcoin. But when we start talking about it and thinking, well, where's the institutional money going to go? We need it to become this. We need this to happen. If that does happen and this fork happens and it's all as what we've kind of been alluding to for a long, long time, it's going to change the game massively. Not just for Ethereum, not just for the crypto space, but the entire outlook of altcoins in general. Because I've always said, when Ethereum turns up to the party, everyone looks. Everyone wants to go with it and follows it. It's one of those things. It's like when Bitcoin throws its toys out the pram. Everyone runs away. It's just, it seems daft to say that, but that's kind of how the market goes. It's, you know, still, I've talked about it in previous videos. Ethereum has been undervalued for a long, long time, and it's starting to show its growth now. So what does that mean for us? Well, we've got other articles as well. 3 reasons why, and this is from JP Morgan, by the way, why it is outperforming. Well, this is why it's always interesting. You got the fundamental values. You got the, you know, everyone's coming to the idea of Ethereum all of a sudden. And I've been talking about it. It's been crazy when you think about it. My tweet yesterday was designed for fishing, to see where people stand. And I do still feel that in its current format, Ethereum will not flip Bitcoin. I just don't see it because it doesn't have that maximum supply. Once that's in and the burning rate's there, you've got a big element versus Bitcoin with Ethereum. The biggest element is multiple projects on it. That's the difference. Whereas Ethereum versus Bitcoin, Bitcoin's just one entity. Ethereum is thousands, right? That's where the difference lies. So it may well flip it, but does it mean it better? No, in my opinion. I think Bitcoin will always be money. It will always be money, whereas this would become probably more like oil, realistically. When you think about it in terms of usage, how many people want to buy and use something? Well, they want to do it, and most people do it through Ethereum instead of Bitcoin. It's a weird one. It's a weird one to kind of comprehend. But when we start talking about it and thinking about it, there's all kinds of stuff. So you've got these 3 elements here. Owning a share of its Ether potential activity is more viable. The theory goes, if Ether should outperform Bitcoin in the longer run. Potentially, yes, because it's got a smaller market cap. You've got all kinds of elements, obviously, with Uniswaps and futures and all kinds of other stuff with Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And obviously, you've got the transaction speeds as well. It will be faster over time, but we'll see. So, in terms of the chart, this is what we've got. BTC version, haha, this is the one that I want. So I did a tweet again this morning, talked about it, saying, look, this is what's kind of happened. The last 5 weeks has been brilliant for Ethereum in terms of this BTC pair. This is why we've had such a great run. Now, I've done videos saying Ethereum's undervalued, and it's done a 72% move since in this BTC pair. If we start talking about it in 29th of March, give or take that week, 29th of March there, people laughed at me, and I said, no, it's going to go higher. It's going to go much, much higher. And genuinely, I can't be bothered going through the comments, but people are like, it's all-time high. It's not going to go any higher. It's like, what you're saying is going to go another 72%. How do you know that? Well, the BTC pairing of this chart gave me that inkling to say, well, actually, we've still got a long way to go. We could go even higher. I've even put a box here. We could go to that box. We could go even higher. We could go really high. We could go easily, you know, another 100% from here. Easy peasy. But it depends on the market. It depends on how many buyers are in, which is always important. But let's talk about Polygon. Aha, another coin, right? So I will openly say I've been wrong about this. Now, I was always skeptical of Matic because of its Indian origin. With the world of India, sorry guys, you like to throw the biggest spanner in the works every freaking month. Oh, cryptocurrency is banned, cryptocurrency is not banned, cryptocurrency is banned, oh God. But they've rebranded, they've totally changed their dynamic of what they're doing. They're massively into the DeFi space now, and the price has reflected hugely since, okay. So they've sorted a lot of things out. And I do like it. I'm just a bit gutted that I didn't really back it from an early point. I did hold it in the past, made profits in the past, and got rid of it and moved it around and did other things. But they've totally changed the way they're doing things, and it's looking pretty damn solid in my opinion. Now, when we talk about gains and stuff, it's only 4 billion market cap at the moment. It could go higher with the scalability and all kinds of stuff with this. And the more and more money that is obviously going to be locked up. It's quite a decent chunk when you think about it, right? It's relatively new as well in terms of what they're aiming to do and achieve. But it's already appreciated a huge amount. You can see on the chart here, it's gone monster. So, yeah, definitely interesting to look at it. But when we start talking about this, the absolute explosion due to the DeFi world, and we all know how prominent DeFi is, and which is why I'm backing certain coins to basically do a Polygon, really. That's what I think is going to happen, because the more and more money that's locked up, and the more people realize the potential and all kinds of stuff like that, it's going to appreciate that value in the asset, the price of it. And that is going to be brilliant. And when we start looking at this, Aave and others, right? I often talk about on Federal Reserve. I've mentioned it a few times. It's about to kick off and go for it. That could do a Polygon. That could do an Aave. And you've got to think, well, what other competition you got? You've got Compound, you've got Aave, you've got Curve, right? They're all big assets realistically, and now you've got Polygon to add to that mix. So it's important to look at that. Anyways, shall we end with some funniness? The funniness is not the Polygon website. It is the actual this, right? So a UK private bank investment chief doubts whether Bitcoin will be around in 10 years' time. Now, it's not so much this. He kind of is, he's got really, talking about the likes of Netscape and kind of where it is, but it's a fact of, you know, Bitcoin technology. I have doubts that the blockchain technology, is going to be a serious force in our lives. So that's going to be obviously of interest. But when we start talking about this, I think, it singles out the fact that basically Bitcoin electricity consumption would play a major role in the downfall. That's still yet to happen. And then singled out Ethereum as potential to replace Bitcoin due to its design and use cases. Like India and Turkey preparing to introduce regulations to manage the sector. But the thing is, we've seen these articles over and over and over again in terms of the same arguments, and they've just not been in my opinion, not been thought through. Ethereum and Bitcoin are, in my opinion, still, and even with the maximum supply going on to Ethereum, is still very, very different. The way that it's kind of built and how the kind of infrastructure is. I've already alluded to it in this video. One is oil, one is like money, essentially. Totally different. But the store of value, potentially in both of them. But people's opinions, eh? What can you say?